on the road again. We can't wait to get on the road again. Telling stories to our family and our friends. We can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. We can't wait to get on the road again. Telling stories to our friends. We can't wait to get on the road again.
Welcome to our monthly AAA podcast, Affinity, Allie, and Annette on the road to good storytelling with your hosts, Allie Spooner and moi. And I'm just so excited. We are recording live from 3 different countries. I'm in Mexico, Allie's in the US, and Julie, JM Dragon, our boss, is in New Zealand. So pretty exciting to be recording from 3 separate countries.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, my name is Alice Spooner. I write with Affinity Rainbow Publications, and I'm a genre hopper. I write short stories, novellas, series, standalone books, and I've had a really fun opportunity working with Affinity. We host these podcasts just about monthly, and we hope that you have an opportunity to meet some new authors or learn more about authors that are not new to you. So we appreciate your support, and we hope that you will take our invitation to take a look at our books at Affinity Rainbow Publications, where we have several hundred books to choose from. So thank you for joining us today.
And I am Annette Mori, and I'm not going to go into a large just introducing myself because we've done these podcasts now for several years. So you all know about me, but I would just ditto what Allie said. I hope you check out some of our fabulous authors. We have some brand new authors that we're pretty excited about. And Jam Dragon has got a brand new book out that she hasn't had one out for how many years, Julie?
Full.
4 years. Oh, we should have been on her way earlier than this to get and yeah, her fans are pretty happy that there's a brand new book out.
Well, we hope
Absolutely.
so.
So we definitely hope so. We've invited Julie this month. We'll ask her to do a short reading, and then we have a few questions that we're going to ask her, and then we'll continue moving on. And hope you enjoy the podcast.
So we always pick a topic, and this month we'll be talking about royal romances, which I'm really excited about. They're very popular. Everyone loves royal romances, even those who, those of us who live in the U.S. where we don't really have royalty. We love our princesses, and we like to fawn over them. So we're honored and delighted to have our fearless leader from Affinity, J.M. Dragon, who wrote a fabulous, I mean, it's so great, royal romance titled The Princess Needs a Wife. And it was released February 1st worldwide, so anybody can get it.
Awesome. So following our podcast, we'll upload to our newly created YouTube channel, and we also put it a short and long version on Facebook for people who like to utilize the Facebook platform. And we hope you will consider subscribing so you don't miss a future episode.
I have the absolute pleasure and honor of reintroducing Julie. J.M. Dragon was originally born in the UK. She is now a New Zealand citizen. She adores her animals, 3 cats, 1 alpaca, and over 100 bantam chickens. She also has a side passion, her business interest in Affinity ebook press, New Zealand Limited. Though she sneaks time in to write when time allows, she has published over 30 individual novels, 12 co-authored novels, and at least 14 individual short stories included in anthologies.
So aside from doing her own writing, she keeps us busy, keeping up publishing and writing and getting things ready to go. So without further ado, Julie, take it away.
Okay. I'm J.M. Dragon. I'm going to read an excerpt from my new book, The Princess Needs a Wife. I'm glad I got that title right, otherwise that would be terrible, wouldn't it? So here we go. Crown Prince Claude Maximilian Osric glared at the 17th century mantel clock on the marble fireplace border. It showed 9:55. Damn you, Sophia. With a click of heels, he strode towards the door and threw it open, almost colliding with his daughter. Reclaiming his equilibrium, he said, "What time do you call this?" Sophia dragged a hand through her mussed-up hair and shrugged. Then she kissed his cheek. "Good morning, Papa." Claude shook his head. "Good morning, Sophia, though I suspect you rarely hear that with your social calendar. Why can't you be more like your brother?" "Whoa, don't go there, Papa. Trust me, two siblings with a head up their backside would be too much for you." He raised his eyebrows. Sophia beamed a smile and entered the room. "You wanted to speak with me, Henry informed me yesterday." Claude sighed. Her tone was enough to know his favourite child was irked by him sending the message via Henry. "Yes." He glanced at the clock again. It was 2 minutes to 10. Frank would be waiting in the limousine to take him to the golf club at Intari. "See me to my car. We can talk as we walk." "Of course." "Look, Sophia, you need to be more careful. Commissioner Foley is naturally upset with you flaunting the rooms." "Then don't let him." Claude frowned, turning as they opened the front door. "Why do you say that?" "Maybe, Papa, because—" A large woman interrupted them. She had a ruddy complexion and was dressed in a green overall that had mud patches on the legs. "I'm so sorry to interrupt, Your Highness. There was an appointment scheduled for 8:30. I know I'm way late, but there was a problem with the turkeys." "You are?" Sophia exclaimed. Claude smiled and placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. "Abigail Ranger. Her family is as much a fixture here as we are." Claude frowned. "I was expecting your mamma." "Sorry, Your Highness. She sent me in her place." "Is she ill?" Abby shook her head. "My mother is well, Your Highness. She asked me to attend the meeting. Unfortunately, there was a drama with—" Claude nodded. "Turkeys. Yes, I understand. I take it you are asking for permission to renew your tenancy." "Yes, Your Highness." Claude turned to his daughter. "Perhaps you can arrange to have dinner with me this evening. Henry will know my schedule." He motioned for his tenant to move closer. "Your tenure is guaranteed. I shall set up the documents immediately. The paperwork will go through your legal representative, I assume." Abigail nodded. "Give your mamma my best regards." He smiled as Abigail Ranger. "Sorry. Sorry, I know it. This is Sasha. Apologies." Anyway, I'll carry on. He smiled as Abigail Ranger nodded furiously and then sped rather gracefully to her side, for her size, across the gravel drive toward a walled area, entering it through a wooden door. Sophia stamped her foot on the gravel. "Oh, of course, you are the sovereign power here. Go, Papa, go." Obviously, she wasn't important. Sorry, she was more important than I am. He wanted to strangle his daughter. "One day, maybe you will understand." He passed his daughter, hesitating for a moment. "I love you," he whispered, and headed toward the car. Sophia glared at the back of her father. True to form, he had let other factors interfere with family. This time it had been related to state affairs, not golf, though that was a close second. God damn it, I'm just a useless attachment that doesn't even come close to being important. I'm done. She entered the house and ran up the staircase to her room. Sophia looked at her baggage. Too much. She spent 2 hours condensing her possessions to 3 suitcases and a vanity case since speaking with her father. The next big question was how she was going to get out of the castle without suspicion. Grinning, she picked up the internal phone. "Princess, how can I help?" A sexy, melodic voice spoke. "My car is at the mechanic's and I need to go into town. Can you arrange this?" Sophia heard a sharp intake of breath from the person who listened. Not that she knew who they were. The staff were just staff. She hadn't any great contact with any of them except for Henry Tovar. "When do you intend to leave?" "Now. Yes, now would be good." "Of course, Princess. Someone will be at your stateroom shortly." Excellent. Sophia ended the call. She looked around the room that had been hers since forever. sadness descending on her heart. Leaving home was the only obvious thing she could do. It was time to make a life she could be happier. Abby ended the call with the princess. Damn, Frank is with His Highness and Samuel is with Prince Rupert. Who else do I send? Frowning, Abby considered several options, but the reality left her. 2 meetings with the princess in the space of a morning was extraordinary, to say the least. She called Mr. Tovos. It rang for precisely 3 rings. If there was one thing you could guarantee about the Crown Prince's aide, though you could call him the head butler and anything else that meant he ran the castle, was that he was predictable. Mr. Tovos, this is Abby Ranger. Princess Sophia has requested a driver to take her and several items to a charity establishment. Frank and Samuel are engaged in other royal duties. Who shall I send? A heavy sigh at the other end of the line was her first reply. You take the princess. Anything else? Well, yes. Who is going to take the calls to the castle when I'm gone? I was covering for Anna. Her youngest had to leave school early. They can go to the voicemail. He ended the call. Abby glared at the small box on the desk and flicked the switch to automatic. I wish I'd never agreed to help today. Then she chastised herself. Her childhood friend wasn't responsible. She headed towards the princess's quarters in the south wing. On the way, she collected the keys to one of the utility vehicles. At least that was a plus. It wouldn't have to be a farm vehicle. Darn sure the socialite princess wouldn't want the smell of the farmyard all around her. Abby chuckled. Sophia watched as the broad-shouldered woman hoisted with ease 2 of the 3 suitcases she'd packed. It had been an effort to drag each case from her bed. This woman must have the strength of a muscle builder. She stared at the biceps, which bulged as the woman worked. Sophia found it a turn on. Mentally, she shook her head. I can't go there. Want me to help? The grimace given told a story without words. Guess not. Sophia glanced around her royal apartments. Since her decision to leave, she doubted herself. Was it really time to move out? The simple fact was she was nothing but a hanger-on. Her brother would inherit the title and the fortune when her father died. The only thing she could expect was an allowance. Her father was generous, but Rupert, when a wife and family came along, might not be so. Though they loved each other, he would have his own family to take care of. Is this the last one? Sophia dragged herself out of her musings and turned. Yes. Will Frank be driving me? No, I will. Exactly who are you again? You never gave me your name, though I am sure you are vaguely familiar. I help friends out when they need it at the castle. I see. Sophia became deflated than she had been. I'm not even worth a member of the royal staff assisting me. Damn, this woman looks familiar. Then the light bulb went off. I remember you. Earlier, you interrupted my conversation with my father. That was not intentional. Sophia watched as a red hue inflamed the already ruddy cheeks. Nevertheless, it happened. Didn't you have an appointment? Yes, but... I remember you had some excuse. Are we leaving? I have other work to attend to. The sharp retort surprised Sophia. Yes, of course you do. Something to do with turkeys. She motioned towards the door. The woman glared at her and left. Holding the door back, Sophia sucked in a shallow breath as tears welled. I wish I could say I'd be back. My senses tell me I never will, in quite the same way. She headed for the stairs. Abby regarded her mother watching her favourite afternoon TV show as she knitted vigorously. Her phone rang and she answered. Hi, it's Abby. Abby, how are you doing? Abby frowned. Who is this, please? Sorry, it's Jean. Remember me from Jake's Bar? Abby bit her lip. Can't quite recall. Hey, no problem. It was a heavy session. Your friend was celebrating a birthday. Chantel. Yeah, Chantel, you kissed me. You said if I wanted to go on a date to call you. You gave me your number. I absolutely don't remember this at all. I'm not that forward. Though I did drink a lot that evening. Well, more than I normally do. Yeah, right, 3 ciders. What the hell? Mum was only saying I had no life outside the farm. That was 3 months ago. COVID had a comeback. I figured I would wait. Want to go on a date? Abby had no clue who this woman was, but she needed a change, even if it was with a stranger. I'm certain I didn't kiss anyone. I'd remember. Sure, why not? Where shall we meet? I can pick you up. No, I figured I'd do that. 6 p.m. work? Yes, I guess. The call ended as suddenly as it had started. Abby was puzzled over the brief conversation. how does she know where I live? I guess cider is more important than I figured. You want how we done?
Very good.
Good job. Good job.
Okay.
Hey,
I did have
have you
more.
noticed that it's always our black cats that have to steal the show?
Yes, I
Hey,
have
and I've got
one.
two.
Allie has one. You have one. We all have black
Yeah,
cats.
Yeah, I've
yeah,
got two actually. The sisters. So
Yeah, I've got two
yes.
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah. She likes, usually she wants to lay on my hand at this time because I'm usually sat at the machine doing stuff, and yeah, so that's why she came.
Good. Well,
She's sat all over my paperwork.
we like seeing the little kitties come.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
That
Yes, we do.
So we're
our life.
actually absolutely delighted that you decided to join us, even though we had to prod you again today. Can you tell us what made you decide to write a royal romance?
Well, to be honest, I was listening to an Ed Sheeran song, The Joker and the Queen. And I thought it was a really interesting concept. I mean, I like the song anyway, because I like Ed Sheeran. And I thought, oh, I've never written a historical, well, not historical, a romance, a royal romance. And the song itself was more historical. And I thought, no, I'm not doing that. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll go contemporary. I'll think about it. So in a way, The Princess Needs a Wife is an accolade to Ed Sheeran because I love that song. And I just simply made it as contemporary as I could and wanted the commoner and the royal person to get together. And I mean, ultimately I am a romance writer anyway. So I mean it just made, I just thought, yeah, that's what we do today. So that's where it came from. That's
Okay.
where the idea came from.
Well,
All
it's
right.
great.
So of course, we know that romance is queen. Absolute pun intended. We hear it from you all the time. But is this your favorite genre, or do you have a secret affinity for some other genre?
Well, of course, yes, I do. I do, because I'm a big sci-fi person, big time. And I also like murder mysteries. So I have written a couple of sci-fi,
Mhm,
and I have also written a couple of murder mysteries,
mhm.
or rather procedural, I guess you call it these days. So yeah, I do actually. I'm a bit like you. I like to go into different genres, but ultimately, I like to have the ending happy. I mean, even though I do leave some of my stories a bit in the air, it's usually with a happy ending anyway. But yeah, I mean, I like to do different genres if I can. I think most writers do anyway, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I
Okay.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think a lot of affinity writers do that, but I think that there's a lot of writers who stick to the romance genre because, that's the one that makes
Well,
most money.
maybe they make more money.
Yeah,
Maybe they
exactly.
sell more. I keep telling you.
I know. But we're the same as you. We'll write romance and we like romance, and there's always a romance element to all of our stories, Allie and I both. But we like some of the other ones, the supernatural, the
Yeah,
sci-fi, the
sometimes.
fantasy.
Well, I know. I mean, I've done supernatural too. I mean, I've written ghost stories and
Yeah.
things. So I get it. I totally get it. Um, and I think as long as there is some romance element in there, then it keeps people happy, I think, because they'll put up with a lot of angst if they know that, there is that chance that it's going to all end happily in some way or other. And I think because there's so much, I don't know whether I can say this, I'm going to say it anyway. There's so much crap in the world, pardon me, that you do like the escape. I mean, that's why people buy books. And do read because they want the escapism from all the stuff that's going around them, and we are very very lucky people that we can actually entertain people that way. Some people won't buy our books, obviously, but I mean the ones that do, they are obviously they enjoy, the escapism that you give them, and to me, it is a very humbling experience for someone to buy a book, whether it be one or 1,000 or whatever. So yeah, and if you make that person feel happier for that period of time, then to me, yeah, we've done our job, really, because it is so hard today in this day and age, wherever you live. It's not just in the US or whatever. It's around us all the time now.
Absolutely. In
Yep.
terms of royal romances, what specific elements to a royal romance do you find most compelling? And did you use those in your novel?
To me, it's the aspect that because of the royal romance that I did was between a commoner and a princess. You've got one person coming from a very privileged background, very privileged. They're rich, they can do what they want, and just the fact that they've got princess tagged at the front of their name gives them opportunities the vast majority of us never would ever get. And then you've got this commoner who works for a living, as a what we call the normal type of working life kind of thing, and the day-to-day grind that we have to go through. Um, I wanted to put those two things together and see what would happen. And that was how I built the royal romance. And that, to me, it was the meeting of those two people and how it did do eventually get to a point where they're not total strangers. They are actually start becoming friends and appreciate each other's way of lives, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the aspects I was looking at. Because of course I'm not
Yeah.
royal, so I don't really know the full details, other than what you
All right.
read about.
Yeah. You lived in the UK and then later moved to New Zealand. Did living in the UK influence your decision on writing a royal romance?
Well, it helped me, because of course I was born in the UK, and the UK the head of state is royal. It obviously it was Queen for God knows how many years, and now it's the King. So I understand that aspect of royalty, and I was born into uh, that situation, as opposed to a country like the US who doesn't have that situation. So it's always going on. And when you're educated, or when I was educated back then, you were told all about the kings and queens and of England and Europe, as opposed to nowadays. I don't think they teach it now, but as such, but it was quite important part of your history. And to me, it's a massive history, and it can be very very interesting when you look at some of the kings and queens and what they got up to. And well, we know this by all these Netflix things that you see. And you take the Queen, for instance. That was a thing on Netflix, wasn't it? I mean, how many millions watched that? So we do have an interest, as Annette said earlier. Even the US have a massive interest in royalty, even though they haven't got any of their own, as such.
That is so true. And even though we have we're like, oh, we fight against that. We don't want a king in our country, but we're so fascinated by royalty. That's why
Mm.
I think Prince Harry is very popular in the
Yeah.
US.
He's
because
not anywhere else.
yeah, but in the US, he's very popular because we are
Yeah, yeah.
we're so fascinated with royalty, because we don't have our own royalty really. I mean,
You did,
unless you talk
in a way,
about, I
you
mean, I
did.
guess they say that
Princess
sometimes the
Grace.
Kennedys were considered
Oh, I
the
see if you're
royalty of
talking
the
about,
US, but it's
yeah.
not the same.
No, but you did have kind of a flirting chance with Princess Grace of Monaco,
Oh, right, right,
because that was massive.
Yeah.
That was massive in the US, because of course she is American, or was American,
right.
and she married a crown prince. So in a sense, that bit of royalty came to the US in a way.
Well, same with Meghan Markle. I mean, she's
Well, yes,
US.
she's a Duchess still. Yes, I
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
Yes. So yeah. So it is. It's fascinating actually when if you delve into some of these things. And many years ago, when I was a teenager, I used to read quite a lot of biographies of royal people. Not that I am a royalist actually, because I'm not.
Interesting.
But I actually have lived in two countries that the head of state is royal.
Yeah.
Because of course the head of state for New Zealand is the King of England. So
Oh, I did not
no,
know
we have a
that.
prime minister, and we have a prime minister who runs the country, as it's the same in the UK. But the head of state for New Zealand and Australia, I'm not, I'm not sure about Canada now. They might not be now, but certainly there and a few other countries, the head of state is the King of England.
I did not know that. That's
I
interesting.
didn't either.
So,
Wow.
what kind of challenges did you run into when creating a main character that's a princess? I mean, obviously, I mean, you read about it and stuff, but I mean, you must have had to do research on some things, right?
No, not really. I mean, because let's face it, you're writing fiction, so you're creating your own world, and then they're people that you're creating, so you can do what you want with them, really, can't you? And I know that's quite flippant. That is a very flippant answer. And I did check a few facts, but I don't like I don't like checking too many facts to get myself confused as to what I'm actually writing. So, because to me, it was a romance more than telling people how royalty did things and whatever. So yeah, you see a little bit of it, that they have to do certain state functions or things like that, but I did not go into detail, and that way, I guess people could say that's a bit lazy then, because you didn't really do much research. But at the same time, you don't want to bog yourself down with the storyline with lots of information that's pretty useless, really, for most people. They're not
Yeah.
really that interesting.
So you didn't really do much research on protocols or anything like that in
No, because I already know quite a few,
huh?
in the
Okay.
sense that if you think about it, if you are brought up in countries that are run by these people, they don't run the country, obviously, but they're head of state, and you've got all that royal paraphernalia going on in your life, then even though it's well in background, you remember things, and you just use that.
Ah,
Oh, that was how
Okay.
I did it anyway. If I was doing an historical romance, that would have been really slightly different. I probably would have gone more more in depth. But because it was contemporary, it's more like the royalties these days, royal houses these days, they are more celebrities than they are head of states. I mean, because that's the way that we live today. They don't really have the power like they used to, when they could chop off your head if you did something wrong, that kind of thing, But now they are basically puppets, I think, in some respect, that they just have to do certain things, otherwise they lose that. They lose the option, because people get rid of them now. Countries say, I don't want that anymore. So, and they vote them out, and they do that.
Hmm.
So you could go the other way. USA could do it the other way. You could vote one in.
Oh, hell to the no.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Your other main character was very interesting. Can you tell us more about her and her connection to the royal family? And was it based on any knowledge that you have of those who lease land from royalty?
Um, Obviously, she's just an ordinary working girl. Well, I guess ordinary in the sense that she runs a farm, and that farm is actually part of the royal, um, estate, or it's within the royal estate. Um, and I do know that they kind of lease them off or tenure them off to people, or centuries ago they used to do that, and obviously that is still carried on today, I believe, to a degree. So I did understand that part of it, where basically they run the farm, but it doesn't actually belong to them. It's just like a lease. Um, and her family have lived there for a couple of centuries, say. Um, and so they are it's part of the furniture for them. They've always lived there, but they don't necessarily mix as such with the royal family, because they are just a worker. They're not a friend or whatever. They just work within that environment, and this is who she was. um but she's but the character that I created was somebody who had a kind heart, and she respected people and their roles in life. Um because I do think that these days we are losing quite a lot of respect for people, and I wanted to create a character that didn't do that. And she may come across as being, oh, she's too nice or whatever, but you do need to respect people, and what they choose to do with their lives. And that's who I created, and I actually like that character. I think she's better than the princess, but not that I dislike the princess either, because she has you know
She
a way,
she
but
she evolves into
she evolves. Yes,
yeah, she
indeed.
definitely evolves into a
Fortunately,
very likable
fortunately, she
character.
did not devolve.
She didn't devolve.
But yeah, but I created a character that, to be honest, I wish there were more of them about in the world today. Somebody who did, respect people and their role in life, and also just because that's who they are. And yeah, I am yeah. So that I guess that's as much as I can really say. I suppose I don't know. Do you want to
Yeah.
repeat something else that I've missed?
Yeah, that's sort of salt of the earth kind of person.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So, any chance to write a sequel? Because it seems like this story could absolutely continue. I mean,
Well, yes, it can, but you've got to remember that if we don't, and I have to look on a business sense as well as the author sense, that if I know it's shocking these days. I mean, years ago, I never worried about that. Now I'd have to. um, so if the book does okay, then yes, I will, because I do know exactly what I want to do, and I would do it with a Christmas setting, and I would tie every loose end up, because I actually know exactly what I want to write. Um, but I have to be pragmatic as well, that if the book doesn't do well, then yeah, so I'm not going to do it, because I am actually writing another book at the moment.
yay!
Fantastic.
Yes,
Okay.
I know you
Good.
can't believe it, can you? And I hope it's not going to take me 4 years, because I'm getting on a bit.
Well, we appreciate that. Do you have a favorite book that you've written? And if so, which one is it?
It has to be the very first book that I actually wrote. And I mean, I know most people may say that. but it was Define Destiny. That was the very first book that I wrote. And that evolved from fan fiction back in 1998. So we're going back a bit now. I am a big fan of Xena. And a friend of mine said back then, she says, "Oh, why don't you try and write an alt fan fiction, based on those characters from Xena?" And I thought, okay, something different. Because I was already writing fan fiction, but I was writing sci-fi because I was a big Babylon 5 devotee. So I was writing that kind of fiction at that time. But this friend of mine said, "Oh, we were always talking about Xena and whatever." She said, "Try that." And I thought, I suppose I can. Never done it before, I can. And yeah, it ticked all the boxes. It is probably, no, I have got a bigger seller than that, but it's my second biggest seller of books that I've ever written. And obviously I did a series because there was 6 books, I think, in the end. And it went down really well, to be fair. But when you do a series, you can, especially if you're using many of the same characters, you actually, I think your readers get as engrossed as you do with the actual characters themselves, because they want to know what's going on, who do they end up meeting as they grow older and how things evolve. So I was very, very lucky, but it was also at the time where, to be honest, there weren't as many books around of that ilk, when you're talking late 90s, early 2000s. Obviously today it's totally different ball game because there's so many books out now that everybody can buy, whatever genre you like to read, whoever you are. So so I was very lucky that I actually got into the writing at the time, of doing that, and a publisher took me on back in 2000. I think it was 2000. I came here in 2002, and my book was published 2 days before I actually flew to New Zealand to live. Wow. So they actually took it on in 2000, but it took a couple of years to come out. And it's still my favorite book. I still love those characters. And I wish I could emulate them again, but you never can, because you change over time, obviously, and your experiences change you. So yeah, you can't actually write something that you wrote 20 years ago, something similar. Or at least I can't, anyway.
Yeah, the Defined Destiny series is one of my favorites of yours, but I'll be honest, my favorite series that you and Aaron wrote is When Hell Meets Heaven. That's a great series too.
Yeah.
So you are very humble, Julie. So, and you don't always tout your accomplishments. So I'm going to help you out there because you are an award-winning author. You won a Goldie for a really great book, also one of my favorites. Can you tell us more about the book that you won that Goldie for? And does it have any special meaning to you?
Yes, it does, actually. Here, I brought it because it's there. Can we see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Yes, okay. Because I don't actually get paperback books anymore, because Amazon, when we did the COVID thing, I used to get everybody's books that we published as a publisher. But now I don't, because they refuse for 2 years to send books over here. And then I just got with the habit. But I mean, obviously, I've got everything digital anyway. So I can't actually show you a copy of the new book because I don't possess one. A physical copy, that is. Anyway, so going back to your question, and what was it again? Sorry.
Tell us about the one, which is the book that you won the Goldie for, and the special meaning that it has to you.
Yeah, well, I'm also, it probably comes from my mum, a big 1940s, 50s movie watcher. And I used to watch a lot with my mum, and we like musicals and stuff. But I remember one story, and it was the Inn of Six Happiness with Ingrid Bergman. And I love that movie, absolutely adore that movie. And that is where this book came from, the inspiration for that book. It's loosely based on it, and that's all I can say, because obviously the Inn of Six Happiness was it was a British woman who was actually, she was quite a poor woman, and she always wanted to be a missionary, and she went to lots of places to try and be a missionary, and they just said, no, you're not qualified enough, you don't know enough, because she was only a scullery maid or something or other at the time, because we're talking back in the, what was it, early 1900, yeah, was it, hang on a minute, I can do this because I've got some notes to help me. It would have been in the 30s, I think, 1925 up to 1930, around that time phase anyway. So she couldn't get a job as a missionary. Nobody wanted her. So she decided to pack up one bag, and she took obviously a ship, I guess, at that time, and she went to China. And she met up with a missionary who took her on as an assistant. And she did eventually take over the mission, because the woman died, because she was an elderly woman. And she was so greatly loved by the Chinese and the people around her ran that mission, that they actually gave her the job of stopping the binding of feet of Chinese children. And she was like a overseer to make sure it didn't happen. And that was quite rare, particularly for a European person to be given that accolade. But it was also the start of when the Japanese started to move into China. And she actually, over a period of time, managed to save 100 children from this missionary by taking them over to a different part of the world, continent or whatever. I don't know whether it's Taiwan or somewhere just away, and she managed to do that. And that was my inspiration, that you've got that person who came from nothing, absolutely nothing. Nobody wanted her to do this job, and she actually did it so well, and she saved so many people. And unfortunately, she was actually thrown out of China for a while, for about 20 years. And then she went back, and she actually did live in Taiwan for the rest of her life. And I know she's buried on a hilltop where she faces China, because it was a country that she loved in the end. So that's where the inspiration for that story came. And I love that. I love the whole storyline of that. And obviously mine is slightly different in the sense that there's a woman pilot who takes freight around, and then there's the woman she meets who is actually in a missionary. She's not a missionary, but I think it's such a long time since I wrote it. I apologize if I can't remember every detail, but I think she's the daughter of the missionary or something. And yeah, but she has to get out of there, or she needs somebody to take her and two children who are in danger, shall we say, out of that mission. And this is where the other character comes in and flies them, and she takes them to another village. And that's how it all comes in. So that's how I created that story.
Wow, I didn't know
And I
that.
did do
I
some
love.
research.
I also love the movie The Inn of. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
been a long time since I've seen that. I saw it when I was younger, probably in my 20s, maybe. My mom was a big fan of she was a big fan of Pearl S. Buck. So the Inn, which is her books are often set in China, and so
Yeah.
that was a favorite movie of my mother's. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's cool to know
All
that.
right. So, boss lady, on the angst scale, where would you place most of your books?
Oh, I do a lot of angst. I try not to do as much in this one, because I have this unfortunate flaw when I'm writing, that I just like to put loads of characters in, and they all have these different interactions and things. So there's a lot of angst. So I tried not. I did when I started The Princess Needs a Wife. I did actually have like a bit of a murder going on there, murder mystery going on there, and then it got so complicated. I actually ripped all that out and restarted the book, and that was to do with the character that dies, you know, in the book early on. Now, if you're not read it, and it's just, I'm not sure I should say this, should I? Oh yeah, it's the prince. He dies anyway, so that's why the princess has to step up a bit. So anyway, he dies. But I actually had this whole different storyline going on with other characters, and I did actually get two great. Well, I thought they were great characters. One was a pathologist, and the other was a police officer going on with their interaction. But then I thought, oh God, this it just gets so complicated. I'd be writing that story for the next 10 years. So I thought I'll rip all that out. But I could actually, if I ever wanted to, I could actually recreate those characters because I've got all the notes and everything, and actually write a book with them as characters, you know. So on the angst scale, I don't know. How do we do this? Do we do it in numbers, 1 to 5, or
1 to
do you want
10.
a percentage? Sorry,
1 to 10.
1 to 10. All right, I'll put them at 6 then. Some are more.
All right. So, you know, you're the big boss, and so you've been in publishing for a long time. What advice would you have for new and unpublished authors just starting out, or just any advice on the kinds of books that Affinity Rainbow Publishing is looking for?
Well, the key to anybody writing, and I mean anybody, is you've got to have faith in the work that you're doing. You know, you've got to have faith in that storyline that you are creating. And as long as you hold that close to yourself, you will succeed. Whether it be you do it indie, whether you never get it off your computer, but you will succeed. And that, to me, is the biggest thing ever. Just have faith in what you're writing, because so many people start something and don't ever finish it and say, oh, I just can't do it. It's not my thing. But believe me, it is. If you've started it and you genuinely want to write a book, just finish it. Do it for yourself more than anything else. And I think that is my one thing with people who write. Just keep going. Just keep going. Have faith in what you're doing, because it will be right in the end. Whatever path it takes you, whether you get published and you sell millions of books, or you only ever sell one copy, or it's just for your friends or family, or what, it doesn't really matter, or just for yourself, I guess. But yeah, do it. That's all I ever say to writers. I mean, what else can you say? We're all different, how we write.
Good advice.
So, but yeah, the time you're asking the types of stuff that we take on at Affinity. Yeah, everything, don't we? We should do. I'm talking to one of them.
We do. I think we do.
Genres.
Yeah.
No, genre. I mean, we do. Yes, I do like romance. I always have, always will. It's in the blood. And I will push for that because it is the biggest seller worldwide. I don't care what anybody tells me. I can prove it to anybody who wants to know the facts. But I also know that we can't just have romance. We're all different. We like to have different things. I love a great ghost story. I love science fiction. I like murder mysteries. So yeah, romance, if you just want to do the bog standard romance, that's great. And I'll read those as well. And we will publish those. And I'm going to be honest, we have a better chance of selling those than we do any other book. That's just fact of life. It's just what people want to read. And people will say, oh, no, I like all the different, genres and things. And I'm thinking, buy them then. Because please buy them, because if you buy them, we will publish them. And that's not just me as a publisher, that is other publishers too. But if you don't buy them, we can't afford to push money into a genre that, particularly small companies. I mean, if you're a big company, yes, they can do what they want, but small companies like ours, I can't. End of story. I will invest to a degree in different types of stories, and I do, as you know. And I will give it my utmost to sell those books. But yeah, I have to take the practical view that if somebody gives me a romance and it's a good romance, and somebody gives me, all right, just for argument's sake, I apologize for that, but time travel, say for instance, and it's also a good book, what am I going to do if I've only got one slot? You know, from a business point of view, unless it's an author that I know, then, and I know I can sell, then yes, you know, I will take the chance always, as you know.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you allowed me to do my time travel one, but it has romance in it. It's
No,
what
no, 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 no. I did apologize first for saying that. It was just that it came to mind because I've been working on your book.
right, right. It's
So that's why it's there, it's front and center. But yeah, I mean, I will publish something. If I think we can sell it, I will. As you will know from this last 12 months or so, we've taken on about 3 debut authors, and it's all been different styles and things. We've tried young adult books too. We are trying to give people options to read, variety, finding new genres they might think, oh, never tried that. Oh, I'll give it a shot. I'll see what it's. We're trying to do that. But it's a very, very difficult marketplace. I'm not going to deny that. And whether we're still here in 10 years' time, that's hard to say. I might be dead anyway. No,
Well, you've definitely given us some leeway in writing the
yeah.
stories that we really feel passionate about. And, me
I,
being
I,
a romance light writer, I appreciate that from you, and you've always been very supportive. Even though you push romance, 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 we barter.
but I do. No, I do. Yes. However, as you've said, look at the books we do put out. I don't always. I do actually approve quite a lot of books that are not predominantly romance,
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah.
and I will do that for people because I am very much a feminist in the sense of um, I want to see more women write books and to get their shot. We're not the biggest people on the planet as a company, but I will do the best I can to give them a chance for that. But yeah, some people don't bother because it's just a business model, and business models don't work for a lot of genres. So they never get into it, which is fine. But I am very much, as I've got older too, thinking, well, let's see if we can give some new people, some younger people a shot, because yeah, it's, and yes, you can do it, Indy. You can do it. You can do it yourself. There's so many platforms these days to do it yourself, and I'm glad that people do. Sometimes I'm glad. Sometimes I'm not. But I'm being honest, and I like to be. That's who I am. What I say, what you get is what you see. Basically, I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't do. I've never done that. To me, it's you've got to be honest with people. I mean, if I know that their book is never going to sell anything, but I'm still prepared to take a chance on it, I tell them because I'm not sure that we've got the audience basically to make them a big star out there in the writing world, but we'll give them their shot always. And that's how I like to run Affinity.
Well, I know we just got a new book from you after a few years of you taking a bit of a break, and
I
you've
have no
hinted that
choice.
that you're writing something else. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Um, I'm going to say no, not really, but I'll,
Oh, come on, give
I'll
us a
give you the
little
title.
tiny hint.
I'll give you the title. It's called New Starts, and it's a contemporary romance. But I'm also using AI in it, and I'm not using it to write. Don't get me wrong. I don't want people to think, "Oh God, she's used AI to write this book." I'm not saying that. But one of the main kind of characters within it is an AI character. That's what I'm trying to say.
Ah,
In
Really?
the in that it yeah.
interesting.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
that's yeah. I don't want people to get the wrong idea that I use AI to write books because I don't.
No,
But yeah.
I think AI is a very interesting topic to weave into books.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
And because
So,
that's
and
where
that's
we got, I
different
mean,
from using it because it's a controversial topic, which makes it
absolutely.
interesting to explore in a book,
Yeah.
Yeah,
as a theme or as a topic. Yeah.
yes. And that's in a sense where this is the two main characters will get together, a female, of course, but there is this AI character that I'm building within this storyline that has a lot to do with how that relationship works out.
Interesting. Well, that I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
that.
So I have
Okay,
started that.
good. Well, get writing.
I'm
All right.
trying.
So,
That's why I'm
last
giving you more things to do.
so Julie, are you a pantser or a plotter or somewhere in between?
You've asked me this before.
I know.
Um, yeah, I do. Will this cat get out of my face? um, I'm a wing and a prayer person.
Wing and a prayer. That sounds like a pantser to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. But I prefer to call it wing and a prayer, and because sometimes it is. But I do write loads of notes, I have to say, and I still write them by hand because I like to do that. That is my way of when I do plots and things, and build the scenario of how it's going to work. And I do that by hand. And I always have. I've got notebooks on notebooks on notebooks. Some going back to when I was only 6 years old. So that's when I first started doing that kind of thing. Yeah. And I
Wow.
actually found them when in a box a few years back, and I thought, oh God, they're all in pencil. I better get them out and put them somewhere. Fading, they'll fade. But yeah, so yeah, that and I have actually notebooks around where if I think of something when I'm cleaning up or doing something, I will actually note that down quickly so that I don't forget. Because as I'm aging, I forget things,
As we all.
as we all do.
So, just in the final closing, anything else you want to share with the audience out there? Any
I don't know.
final thoughts?
Please buy the book.
There you go.
I mean, I know it's a plea. Because I've been out of no, I mean it seriously. Once you've been out of the arena, shall we say, for a long time, and 4 years is a long time for me. You do lose contact quite, even though I've got a decent Facebook page and stuff like that. I spend a lot of time plugging other people's books because I have to as a business model. And I forget about my own things. In fact, I forgot to do a video until the very day before. I do that usually weeks before. So I tend to, concentrate a lot on other people these days more than myself. And that is a big flaw in me. I'm not very good at putting myself forward. So yes, please, if you fancy reading about this princess and a commoner, I'd love it. And I like feedback too. So even if it's bad, I will take it.
It's a great book. I mean, I love rural romances, and I don't think this one will disappoint anyone at all. I think you'll really enjoy, the whole idea of a princess and a commoner is a great, it's a great backdrop for the book. Plus there's other things in there that make it even more interesting, the whole thing about the prince, and there's some other things in there. I won't go into
Yes,
details,
yes.
but
We don't. Yeah.
I won't. But there's
Oh, thank you.
some interesting stuff that are subplots that I think make it that much more special than just your basic romance. So I reiterate, I encourage people to definitely get The Princess Needs a Wife. Also, in closing, don't forget to check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. Next month, we'll be talking about crime procedural novels with Affinity's brand new author, L.J. Reynolds. Her new book, Noble Intentions, comes out on
1st of March.
March 1st.
Yeah.
March 1st. So it's
Oh,
out on
yes.
pre-sale right now.
It is. Yes.
So great. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Allie, do
you
you have
for
anything
allowing
else?
me to be here. And my cat.
No. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to reading more about this AI character,
Ah.
and expect us to keep pushing you to write it.
Oh, I know. I know I'll be getting emails now. I wish I'd never mentioned it.
That's
Yep.
right. The cat is out of the bag, so to
The
speak.
cat, indeed.
And crawling all over your laptop.
Yes, quite literally. She helps me. She's not AI though. She is real.
All right. Once again, thank you, Julie.